Right now on Up with KREM, the hospitalizations are dropping in Washington, but with flu season right around the corner, health leaders worry the situation will only worsen.
Greyhound will no longer allow Border Patrol agents to conduct immigration sweeps on their buses. The issue sparked national debate after a comedian was detained here in Spokane.
And a major week on Capitol Hill, a government shutdown is looming. Lawmakers have until the end of the week to agree on the debt ceiling. If they can't meet in the middle, hundreds of thousands of government workers could be without a paycheck.
I don't think there's going to be a farmer out here in the state of Washington or anywhere that's going to be capable of keeping the amount of workers and keeping the amount of hours and still pay overtime.
A new bill is supposed to pay farmers for working overtime, but now the concern is if agriculture companies can afford it.
And we're talking cloud cover and cooler temperatures this morning. I'll let you know what to expect later on this afternoon.
Up with KREM begins now.
Well, good morning. So glad to have you here with us on this Tuesday. I'm Tim Pham.
And I'm Channing Curtis. Well, we're starting things off this morning because hospitals in Washington and Idaho are still under a huge COVID-19 surge.
Yeah, so the newest data from the Department of Health showing hospitalizations from COVID-19 are starting to come down, but they are still at record highs.
Now, Washington hospital leaders are warning that they could be in even more trouble if we're hit with a bad flu season this year. So Nicole Hernandez is joining us live to explain more about how hospitals are coping. Good morning, Nicole.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Right now I'm live overlooking Cliff Drive, which is where our hospital district is. And the hospitals in our state right now are not in crisis standards of care like we're seeing over in Idaho. But there are doctors that are concerned that if we get much worse, that we will have to dip into that crisis standard of care. So what that means for hospitals specifically is that they'll be rationing resources because supplies and space are limited. Washington State Department of Health says hospitals are already conserving care. They've canceled a good amount of surgeries, and hospital leaders say that if the flu case levels are higher than last year, it could also put hospitals over the limit.
I feel better right this minute that the hospitalizations are starting to go down. However, in late June, early July, we would not have predicted we were going to get the worst, we were going to be in the worst shape ever as we are now.
Now, hospitals are also struggling to find enough doses of monoclonal antibodies because of high demand for the drugs in other states. Doctors say it's an effective treatment for COVID patients, but not nearly as effective as the COVID vaccine. And all health experts are saying that COVID-19 vaccine will be the best way to keep from getting the virus and staying safe throughout the pandemic. Live in Spokane, I'm Nicole Hernandez.
All right, let's get to Jeremy now to talk about the forecast. If you are just waking up, you definitely heard the rain on your roof last night and even this morning. Kind of soothing.
It really was. It was nice.
Relaxing. Although it is a little bit wet outside, but it sounds like that'll clear out today, Jeremy.
Yeah, it should start. We'll see a couple of kind of scattered pop-up showers later on this afternoon. But for now, the bulk of the moisture is working its way into North Idaho. And yesterday kind of panned out how we thought. We got a couple of spurts of moisture throughout the day, and I was going, oh, here it comes, kind of watching that front. And then after dark, that front hit and the rain really picked up across the region. We picked up about a ½ an inch here in Spokane, so quite a bit of moisture for us, and that's good news. Now, when it comes to our temperatures this morning, they reflect the passing of the cold front. Almost 15 degrees colder than where we were yesterday. You're in the mid-40s in Coeur d'Alene and Sandpoint with rain still coming down, 48 in Spokane, 49 in Moses Lake with sunshine, and 41 in sunny in Wenatchee. Wind gusts will stay near 20 miles per hour throughout the day today, so it's another breezy one. And that rain continues to work its way into North Idaho. You're starting to see it wind down. Newport, you're looking at the last about 15 minutes of rain right now. Then it moves into Idaho, and that's where it stays for much of the morning. Then we'll eventually start clearing it out. It's already starting to move its way out of the Palouse, and expect that to remain the case. Now, this morning the rain winds down, but this afternoon, conditional instability in the atmosphere will fuel some later day showers and even a couple rumbles of thunder. Those aren't overly widespread, but they will happen in a few areas. And then tomorrow, it's all about the sunshine. So a little bit of everything, but just know today, kind of gloomy and kind of cool. Temps top out in the 50s later on this afternoon.
An update now to one of the biggest stories we are following this week. Investigators ruled out speed as a factor in the deadly Amtrak derailment.
Now, the train was going just under the speed limit at about 75 miles an hour when it went off the track along a gradual curve. 3 people were killed and several others were injured. Now, right now, they still don't know exactly what caused the train to derail. The National Transportation Safety Board is reviewing the locomotive's black box as well as the video leading up to the crash.
And we have experts that are studying the camera footage frame by frame to make sure that we see exactly what the engineer saw or maybe didn't see.
According to investigators, another locomotive went over the same track a little more than an hour earlier, and we are told that the tracks were inspected 2 days before.
The time is now 7:36. Time for your morning rush. More news in less time. First up, Greyhound will no longer allow Border Patrol agents to board its buses without a warrant or reasonable suspicion in Washington.
The company will also pay $2.2 million in lawsuits involving immigration sweeps. So the money will be used to provide restitution to passengers who were detained, arrested, or deported after their bus was checked at the Spokane Intermodal Center. Before this lawsuit, the company was allowing border agents to board buses and conduct warrantless immigration sweeps.
Now, this issue made national headlines after comedian Mohamed El-Sheikhi was detained by Border Patrol in Spokane, even though he had documents showing that he was in the U.S. legally. We got a chance to speak with him last night after the settlement was announced.
I mean, I wish they just stopped that earlier, and it didn't have to go into that and like being like, you know, taken to court and all of that and having like to pay money, but that was their choice. So I'm very happy with it, and hopefully that will be something that, you know, happens like nationwide and not just, you know, in Washington.
Last year, the comedian sued the U.S. Border Patrol, which led them to paying him $35,000.
The Central Valley School District is apologizing for an inappropriate classroom assignment given out by one of their teachers. Now, a parent told us that the teacher asked a group of freshmen to write about how they would murder someone and get away with it. We reached out to the district, and they say the activity was not appropriate, nor was it approved. An apology letter was sent to the class on Friday.
The city of Spokane just announced it will provide a year-round homeless shelter. The Guardians Foundation will run the shelter on Cannon Street, and it will operate as a night-by-night drop-in and daily use shelter with wraparound services.
Well, that's your morning rush. More news in less time. Let us know what's happening in your neighborhood by using the hashtag
#UpWithKREM on social media. Well, hey, still ahead here on the show. Washington farm workers will be eligible for overtime starting in January, but many critics say the issue is not as clear-cut as it sounds.